What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to the latest Liverpool transfer news, and we will talk about Kai Havertz and Liverpool getting linked with each other once again. But in this video you will get a very detailed inside look into Liverpool's summer transfer plans and beyond, because Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp, sporting director Michael Edwards and FSG president Mike Gordon sat down and discussed between themselves what Liverpool's plans are for the summer. So we will talk about Kylian Mbappe, Jadon Sancho, Kai Havertz, and how likely it is that Liverpool will sign them. And The Independent published an article about this, and we have some inside information about what is going on at Liverpool Football Club. So the main principle is that Liverpool shouldn't abandon their principles that have got the club to this point, which is mainly to sign players who represent great value for money, maybe except Alisson. He's the only player who I don't think would command a much bigger transfer fee than the transfer fee that we signed him for. But Van Dijk, what is he worth right now? 200 million probably. Salah, Mane, Firmino, they are worth probably 150 million each, and even Alisson, you could argue he's worth 125 million pounds. So Liverpool have, of course, a 22-point lead at the top of the Premier League, so they have a complete team which doesn't need an overhaul. So Liverpool will probably go for one or two superstars again that can improve their starting 11. And the people that sat down together, the sporting director, the owners, and Jurgen Klopp, agree that there is a massive difference between being at the summit, at the top of European football and the Premier League, versus playing catch-up in trying to reach it. But there will be no significant alteration to the method that has restored Liverpool as a domestic and a continental powerhouse. And Anfield is now a destination where players want to come to, and not where players leave. And Jurgen Klopp and the Liverpool owners deserve huge credit for this, that they turned Liverpool from a selling club to a destination club. And that was Jurgen Klopp's main aim, one of the main aims. And also the Independent article is saying that Liverpool have an interest in Kylian Mbappe, Jadon Sancho and Kai Havertz. It would be utterly ridiculous for Liverpool not to be interested in these kind of players. And Liverpool would have recruited Sancho from Manchester City in the summer of 2017 if trade between the two clubs was possible. Even Jurgen Klopp mentioned this previously. And also Havertz is a player that Jurgen Klopp and Michael Edwards may as well have stylistically stitched together, given he's basically ticking all the boxes, all the requirements to be a top-class Liverpool player. Interest is only the starting point and a tiny part of the transfer strategy. The recruitment team and Jurgen Klopp are big admirers of Heung-min Son, of Marcus Rashford, but that interest is immaterial given neither of them are available to Liverpool. Do Liverpool have the financial muscle to secure these brilliant youngsters, namely Sancho or Havertz or even Kylian Mbappe? Yes, because Liverpool have done so well in the transfer market in recent years. The net spend is 75 million pounds since Jurgen Klopp became a Liverpool manager in 2015, which is like 4 years, and Liverpool only spent a net spend of 75 million. It's absolutely crazy. And also the commercial gains from all the brand deals and all the TV revenue deals is absolutely huge. It's much bigger than in 2015. So Liverpool are in a position to be able to afford even Mbappe or Havertz or Sancho or any of these players. But the report also says that Liverpool are aware that they have navigated to this position by being responsible, and also they will continue to do so. Business will be determined by what Liverpool Football Club needs, And that's the ultimate influence, rather than the buzz surrounding high-profile players. For example, Kai Havertz, he has been priced upwards of 80 million pounds, and that is considered to be nearly double his market value by Liverpool. So there has been no attempt to start a process over securing him. That's what the report is saying. And Liverpool like him a lot, but not at that price. And Liverpool don't need him, according to the report, certainly not at that price. Sancho and Mbappe are in the same bracket, but with a lot bigger, greater valuations, and a huge transfer fee is accompanied by a huge salary demand, which has a knock-on effect on the rest of the squad. So unless Liverpool lose one of their big front three players, a situation they are not expecting in the summer, with none of Mane, Salah or Firmino showing any signs of wanting to leave Liverpool, there isn't room for a blockbuster attacking purchase like Mbappe or even Jadon Sancho. The other point to make is that on the players being linked to Liverpool, anyone could suggest the signing of the trio that we already mentioned, Havertz, Sancho and Mbappe. You do not need to be a skilled sporting director to mark them as transfer targets. Edwards and his recruitment team don't often plump for the obvious choices, because they have a big research group and they provide them with a lot of information. For example, we signed Takumi Minamino for 7.5 or 7.2 million pounds, and his transfer value is probably 20-25 million pounds at least, but even I would suggest that even 30 million pounds. And also Liverpool will be now the front runners for the Asian market, especially the Japanese market, because Takumi Minamino is Japanese. And just another example, Firmino cost 29 million pounds. And also we signed Chelsea flop Mohamed Salah. Andy Robertson, we signed him from relegated Hull City. We signed Wijnaldum from relegated Newcastle. We signed Shaqiri from relegated Stoke City. Those were not obvious choices to Liverpool, and they were all criticized by some quoters of the Liverpool fan base. Sadio Mane, that signing was criticized, even the Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain signing, because of the money spent on an injury-prone player. And Gini Wijnaldum, many people were questioning that signing at the time. Why would we sign a player from relegated Newcastle? But it just shows how shrewd and how smart the transfer strategy and the transfer decisions have been at Liverpool. The two really big moves that we made through Michael Edwards was Virgil van Dijk and Alisson, and they both filled huge gaps in the squad. And this report is stating that Liverpool believe there is no option on the market that fits into this kind of territory this summer, given how well equipped the Liverpool squad is, which is quite interesting. Do you think that we don't need a goal-scoring midfielder who can get 10, 15, 20 goals every season? Because I certainly think we do. But if Liverpool think that Kai Havertz is way overpriced at 80 million, I tend to agree with that, and they are well within their rights to not pursue somebody like Kai Havertz. And Liverpool's priority right now is to lock down the world's best centre-back and the world's best goalkeeper, Van Dijk and Alisson, for long-term contracts, and they both want to extend those contracts. Joe Gomez, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson have signed new deals in the last 13 months, and that is Liverpool's biggest, I think, achievement, that we tied down all our promising players to long-term contracts. And the independent report is also says that Liverpool were looking to sign a backup left-back, and the Borussia Dortmund's Rafael Guerreiro was their target, and he would have cost around 17 million pounds with a salary in the region of 60,000 pounds per week. But Liverpool decided it was not the best use of money, as Robertson would only be out of the starting 11 due to injury. or suspension or rest, with James Milner and Joe Gomez able to provide cover while Larouci's development is monitored. And here where I don't really agree with the Liverpool transfer policy, I think we should build a bigger squad with 2 players for each position who can really come in and play at almost the same level. I'm not saying Guerrero is as good a left back as Robertson, but he's certainly better than a makeshift left back by James Milner or Joe Gomez. And if Robertson gets a long-term injury, which can happen to anybody, then Liverpool would really suffer, in my opinion, because the fullbacks are so essential and so vital to the way that Liverpool play, that if we lost Robertson for, let's say, 3 months, 4 months, we would really struggle. And this is why I don't get this gamble by Liverpool. It's only 17 million, which is not a lot of money by Liverpool standards, and we can easily afford that amount. And yeah, it's similar to the other flank, where according to the report there is no desire to bring in a deputy right back that will cost around 30 million pounds, because Neco Williams is emerging, but he's only a very, very young player with a lot of inexperience. What happens if Trent Alexander-Arnold is out for 3 or 4 months or even more? Then we have to play Neco Williams as the first choice right back. Joe Gomez is not a proper right back, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is probably one of our most important players still. I don't get this gamble. You could fix this by just spending like 50 million pounds combined on very good backup fullbacks, and Liverpool would be covered with all kinds of injury problems, all kinds of situations. But this is what the report says, and this is very interesting. Liverpool rate this policy that allows them to be flexible enough to react if there is a need to bring in a game changer. So basically we are saving money and holding back money on spending on backup players, just so we can go big if one of our superstars decides to leave. For example, the Coutinho saga of 2017, where Coutinho reported to Melwood for pre-season training, happy. He was talking up the new campaign, with his mood only shifting on July the 21st, when Barcelona's shock first bid for him was rejected by Liverpool. Up until that point, Jurgen Klopp spoke to Coutinho, and there was zero sign that Coutinho wanted out of Anfield. His agitation to leave afterwards was out of character and forced Liverpool to recalibrate their transfer plans so close to the start of the season, despite ultimately handling the matter quite well in getting a guaranteed 130 million for Coutinho, delaying his departure until January and reinvesting those funds into getting Van Dijk and later Alisson. Liverpool are confident that they have greater flexibility in maneuvering a similar situation right now. So let me know, guys, do you agree with this transfer policy? So we save money by not buying proper backup players for Robertson, for Trent Alexander-Arnold, which I think is a too risky policy, because if we get both players injured, then Liverpool's defense almost like falls apart, and also some of Liverpool's best attacking play falls apart as well. And I think it's too great a risk just to save like 40 million pounds, which is not a lot in Liverpool's transfer budget overall. According to this report, the expectation is that Liverpool will only lose Adam Lallana and Nathaniel Klein this summer, and maybe 1 or 2 players who want more minutes. Somebody like Origi comes to mind as well. So Liverpool are preparing for a relatively quiet summer, according to this report, unless there are any significant problems, an injury to a key player, or a key player wanting to leave Liverpool. The Liverpool's current recruitment staff, who is responsible for getting players, their philosophy is it's not about the first 3 months after a player signs, but the first 3 years. And this summer, the Liverpool objective is to stay ahead of the curve and fix the roof while the sun is shining, which is a great analogy. in my opinion. Succession planning has already materialized, both internally, Harvey Elliott for example, and externally, with Liverpool looking at players with high ceilings that are eager to further develop. So probably Liverpool will target similar players to Salah and Mane, who cost around 40-50 million pounds, but who has a ceiling or the potential to become 100 or 150 million pound players. And Liverpool also in the next 2 months will be making decisions on their young players and some of the loan players as well. Is Curtis Jones ready to make the step up and play regularly in the Liverpool first team, or would it be a greater benefit for him to go on loan and to play first team football at another club? What happens to Harry Wilson? Will he be given a chance in Liverpool's first team or not? Ryan Brewster as well, he's doing well at Swansea now, scoring 2 goals in like 3 games or something like that. Harry Wilson is doing very well. So overall, the biggest takeaway from this article is that Liverpool will stick to their principles of mainly buying players who are young players, who are very hungry, who can develop into bigger and better players in the mold of Salah, of Mane, of Firmino. Even Fabinho, I think, is now worth probably twice as much as the price that we signed him for. Very interesting article that I wanted with you guys to share. And also, Ian Wright, who is an Arsenal legend, said that if he was in Mbappe's shoes, he would go to Liverpool. This is what he said. You look at Mbappe, looking across, you could probably see him coming across here to the Premier League. I would probably want to go to Liverpool if I was a world-class player and I had the choice between Liverpool and Man City and all the other top clubs in England. Any player in the world wants to play for Liverpool, especially this season. You have to say that Liverpool are at the start of it now. So if you are a world-class player, you would probably want to get there now. It seems to me, as we saw with Pep Guardiola, he has had 2 years of unbelievable football, but I feel that Liverpool are really getting ready to build something special. If I am Mbappe, I'm looking at Liverpool. Where else you want to go if you are Mbappe now? Maybe Barcelona or Real Madrid. Of course, those clubs will always be very attractive to foreign players, but this is actually a very big compliment from Ian Wright to Liverpool, because it just shows how well Liverpool have done in the past 2 years, that now we are a top destination for top players. But of course, it remains to be seen whether Liverpool really want to pay top dollar for somebody like Mbappe. And my only worry with this transfer strategy is, what if Kai Havertz goes to Man United, Jadon Sancho goes to Chelsea, and Mbappe goes to Manchester City, and Liverpool just sit and wait to let that happen? Liverpool's dominance could be under serious threat if we let all the top players, all the top young players go to rivals in the Premier League. Because don't get me wrong, Liverpool have the money to sign any of these 3 players, but also Man United, Chelsea and Man City have the money to sign these players. So that's my worry, that if Liverpool let this happen, the other clubs will get stronger, and Liverpool, I think, need to think long term. Who will replace Salah, Mane or Firmino? You don't want to wait until the last second when they are starting to decline to replace them. You want to bring in a young player, possibly this summer or next summer, to really bet him in and give him 1 or 2 years to really fulfill and grow and fulfill his potential. And I think that will be possibly a wiser strategy. But of course, Jurgen Klopp and the recruitment team knows a lot more about football than I do, so I will ultimately trust their judgment. But Liverpool are in such a good position. I want Liverpool to take advantage of this. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. See you later. Goodbye.